Whilst there are multiple disturbing interviews, some of the worst come from conversations with killers. So, from the woman who shot her own children, to the man who murdered a family. Join us.
Listen, they always trying to kill somebody related to them. Not even like a friend, nothing.
Responsible for the murders of 5 women at only the age of 21, Bernard Giles was fortunately captured in 1974. More recently, Giles was interviewed by broadcaster Piers Morgan.
That day that you went out when you did kill for the first time, was that a morning when you woke up and you were with your wife and daughter and you just, something hit you and you went,
No.
today may be the day?
Every day may be the day.
Every day?
Every day may be the day.
For
Do you know
what?
the name of your first victim?
No, sir. Not now. Nancy Jerry.
Do you know anything about her life?
I found out later she was a singer in a bar. That was it.
Tell me what happened.
Picked her up in Titusville. There's a wooded area, and I pulled off the road.
What did she look like?
Little shorter than me, fairly well built, pretty but not particularly pretty, brown hair. That's about it.
And at what point did she realize that you were going to harm her?
Well, not necessarily that I was going to harm her, because most of them don't assume you're actually going to kill them. Most of them assume it's a rape or something like that.
That's not the question he asked you. He asked you, when did you decide you were gonna...
And what did you then do?
Told her to get out of the car, and that's when she became afraid. Up to that point, I assumed that she thought it was just going to be a rape. I walked her over in front of a tree, and then I shot her.
Just like that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why?
And what were you feeling as you did that?
I mean, the thing is, what is your passion in your life?
Here you go,
What
not
is the
answering the
thing that
question
you like to do
again.
more than anything else?
You're not in court. It's
And you're
over.
doing it. You are so there that you can almost, it's like you can see the atoms vibrating. I mean, it's difficult to describe.
Soon after the killings, his wife and daughter left the trailer park and moved out of the state.
What could
He
they
would never
do?
see them again.
You lost a wife, you lost your daughter.
I lost everything.
You lost everything, yeah.
Listen, how
Do you
many
know what
people
happened
did you
to your daughter?
kill?
Was
Have you ever heard from her?
No, sir.
How does that make you feel?
What can you do with that?
We had a picture there.
You?
What do you feel when you see your daughter?
I don't know exactly.
When you look at your own daughter, that age, smiling, innocent, happy, what do you feel about the young women you killed?
I don't put those together.
Obviously, he don't. You would have to tell me that.
I mean, what would you feel about a man who snatched your daughter and terrorized and raped and killed her?
I certainly wouldn't appreciate it.
That's it? That's how you'd feel?
Like I said, I certainly wouldn't appreciate it.
Next.
Believed to have killed around 70 people, 49-year-old
70?
Tommy Lynn Sells was executed in 2014. Years earlier,
2014.
on November 18th.
See, this is my whole issue. Is the fact that 70, like, how does a person even get away with, okay, unless it was like a mass thing. But if it was one by one or like a couple by a couple, y'all wasn't serious
1987,
about catching
he
him.
brutally murdered the Dardine family. Sells had first overpowered the father, 29-year-old Russell, then severed his penis and shot him dead. After this, he'd raped Russell's wife, 30-year-old Elaine, before using a baseball bat to beat her and their 2-year-old son, Peter, to death. Finally, as the severity of the beating caused Elaine to go into labour, Sells killed their newborn baby girl.
So altogether, about how many you killed, the question is, and you think your answer is what?
See, you trying to sew me up in a wow. I don't know. You know, do the math. A couple 3 year, 4 year, for 20 years. What does that add up to? 50 to 70.
See, and that's what exactly what I'm saying is the fact that he been killing for 20 years. But this was back in the day. Like, it's like you gotta keep that in mind. But he got executed. It's a whole lot. My whole thing is the fact that I guess back in the day, you could get away with crimes. All I'm saying is that to me, it's like if you got caught up with anything back in the day, you deserve to get caught up. Because you could have gotten away with crimes.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Probably more.
Some of the people you killed, they could be men, they could be women, they could be kids. It was like an equal opportunity.
I didn't form a pattern as most.
Yeah, it was like anybody was fair game.
It did not matter. Blood is blood. It didn't matter man, woman, child.
Yeah, no more thrill to kill the mayor of the town than the homeless guy on the street.
No.
Quite a few times, not all the times, but quite a few times, it was a mother and a kid.
And I have an answer for that.
Okay.
And I thought hard about that because it's been like smacked up inside my head a time or two. I know what I went through as a child. The nightmares, the drama, the reality of who I was and what was done to me. I never wanted that to happen to another person. I had something.
But you killed a kid. What are you saying? Huh?
Against that person. And there was another person there that witnessed it. I didn't want them to carry that on their shoulder the rest of their life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you were putting out of the misery they would have had if they had to live through all that.
That's the best I can answer it.
But then you
If it was
killed
just a question of putting the other person, besides the one that you were targeting, out of the misery of having to live life with missing mama or missing, you know, whoever, maybe you would have gone about it in a gentle way.
Is there a gentle way?
Yeah.
Oh, how you know when they strap you to a gurney that everything inside of you just ain't burning up?
In one case, Sells murdered an entire family, bludgeoning a pregnant woman, her 3-year-old, and her unborn baby to death.
It's the sensation of the blood. It's the sensation tying that scarf around your neck and just watching your eyes. It's the sensation seeing that skin pull apart. It's sensation sticking that knife in and just pulling and knowing it's sharper.
Stop saying words with the letter S in it.
Was there
You're
anything
pissing me
different
off.
the first time when you killed a person? Was there a different rush, a different feeling?
That first one, I can still see it in slow motion. And each one after that became more
Speeded up?
more routine. I can't find the dragon I'm chasing no more. I can't find that rush, that same release of anger I felt that first time.
So there was a release of anger.
Oh, without a doubt. It's like busted a piece of glass, and there's just little shivers all up in there.
Sells seemed to feed off his own anger, of which there was no shortage. He became addicted to the release of this anger, which occurred through violent means. Paradoxically for Sells, evil for him was other people.
Today, I might say, you know, Tommy, Dr. Stone, he's okay. And tomorrow I might wake up and say, you know, that bastard, he tried to slide a slip one in on me. You understand?
I do. That's why there's this glass.
You think?
What's funny?
Admittedly, Diane Downs isn't a serial killer, but that isn't through a lack of trying. In 1983, after a string of short relationships, Diane finally found love in her co-worker, Robert Knickerbocker.
Tomorrow I might wake up and say,
Robert,
"You know
however,
that
rejected
bastard?
her, stating he had no interest in being a father to her 3 children, Christiane, Cheryl Lynn, and Danny. Subsequently, on May
They
19,
added the wrong scene.
1983, Diane pulled over onto the side of a quiet road and shot each of them multiple times.
Why?
She then shot herself in the arm and drove to the nearest hospital. Tragically, Cheryl was already dead, whilst Danny was paralysed and Christy barely alive. Meanwhile, Diane told doctors that they'd been attacked by a bushy-haired man who'd attempted to hijack the car. Police though were sceptical, and after a lengthy investigation, arrested her on February 28th,
See, that's what I'm
1985.
saying is that, girl, it got to the point where you shot yourself and you was trying to make this whole entire scene or whatever. But it's like, you still somehow messed up so bad that back in, 1960 change, 70 change, you still got cut up. You wasn't trying to get away with it.
Oh,
We were just out, I guess, sightseeing, I guess you'd say. And the kids got tired. They fell asleep in the car, so I decided to just head on home. But I saw a road I hadn't been on before. We like to take back roads. And just went down that road. And there was a guy standing in the road, flagging me down, so I stopped. If I had shot my own children, would I not have done a good job of it? Why would I have taken my kids to the hospital? Wouldn't I have made sure they were dead and then cried crocodile tears? That's insane to think that I would do such a thing and then bring the witnesses in against myself. That's crazy. Christy woke up, and as I say, she may be the only one to get me out of this. Would I have brought her to the hospital? Wouldn't she be the one that I would make sure is dead? There are too many holes in it. When this man shot my daughter, my first reaction was to snap back to my childhood, to the pain that had happened to me back then, my marriage, my entrapment by society. This man was bigger than me. He was stronger than me. He had more power because he had a gun. And I stood there and I looked at Christy reaching. And the blood that just kept gushing out of her mouth. And what do? Everybody says you sure were lucky. Well, I don't feel very lucky. I couldn't tie my damn shoes for about 2 months. It is very painful. It is still painful. The scar is going to be there forever. I'm going to remember that night for the rest of my life, whether I want to or not. I don't think I was very lucky. I think my kids were lucky. If I had been shot the way they were, we all would have died. You can't replace children, but you can replace the effect that they give you. And they give me love. They give me satisfaction. They give me stability. They give me a reason to live and a reason to be happy. And that's gone. They took it from me. But children are so easy to conceive. At night, when I close my eyes, I can see Christy reaching her hand out to me while I'm driving.
You just saying
And the
stuff.
blood just keep coming.
This is exactly why you got cut up. You just
Maybe
talking.
it'll fade too with time, but I don't think so. That haunts me the most.